Hi, this is Gurasi Singh, and you're listening to my Thick Accent podcast. Now we're in the final segment, Akshay. I call it Beneath the Accent because we are knowing each other beneath the accent. And I'm going to have a couple of questions. You can answer them in one word or a sentence or however you feel like. The idea is just to know more about you. So the first question is, are you an early bird or a night owl?
This is this is a tough one because I feel like I have such a structure on my mornings and evenings. But if I had to pick, I would say probably more early bird than night owl, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely more early bird.
A word that describes you best.
Optimist. I'm such an optimist. I will always try to see the good in something. Even if it's the worst thing ever, I will try to see the good in it. And that has come back to harm me at times. But for the most part, I love being an optimist. I think if you're a founder, you have to have a glass half full mentality, or else this process will be very, very challenging.
Very, very relatable. I can say that. Okay. So what's your go-to comfort food? Apart from Roro.
So this has been something that yeah. This has been something that I've been loving to make lately. So I love cooking in general. I love it. I love trying out new recipes, trying out new foods. But it's a super, super, super simple dish that has 4 ingredients. It's pasta, either fresh pasta or just regular pasta. You thinly slice garlic, and with olive oil, you put garlic and chili, and then that's it. And then you boil your pasta, you put the pasta in with the garlic and chili oil, and then you top it off with a ton of parsley and lemon. And it is so simple, but the flavors, because it's so simple and it's only a few ingredients, are so bright, and it is such a amazing dish, especially before any big game or anything going on. I will have that because it just brings me like peace. It just like calms me down. It's like, okay, this is like my comfort. I love it. I can eat that every day if I had to. Super simple, super easy.
Love that. I know what I have to cook tonight. Thank you for that.
Yeah, give it a try. You will absolutely love it.
So what's your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite childhood memory? I think it has to be some of the experiences I had with my grandparents growing up. In particular, with our family events, every Sunday we would be together. We would spend a lot of time together, and just the commute to Brampton, being with them, either playing pool in their house or my grandfather taking me to hockey games, hockey tournaments all around the US. Those are experiences I will cherish for the rest of my life. And, those are parts of my life that I appreciate so much, and makes me miss them all the time, right? Is that those moments.
Do you have any hidden talents?
I can solve the Rubik's Cube. That's that's one thing I picked up during the pandemic. I'm not very fast at it, but something fun that keeps my mind occupied. But I'm just like watching a show or something, I'll just start fiddling around with it.
Okay. What's the best piece of advice someone ever gave you?
So this was something that my brother told me when I was in the mix of writing my IB exams. And I was so hard on myself that I couldn't even get myself to study because I felt like so sick to my stomach thinking about how much work I had to do and how behind I felt. And I just felt like I wasn't good enough to do well on these exams. For context, my brother is a smartest guy I know. Won every academic award. He's just a genius when it comes to that. Came into my room. He sat next to me. He said, "Look, you are no less than 100%. You are no less than 100%." And I took a permanent marker, which maybe I shouldn't have, but whatever, and wrote it all over my room, on my mirror, on my desk, not on any walls, like things you can still get rid of. But every morning when I wake up, I see that quote, "You are no less than 100%. And that has been on my mirror since 2016, 2017. And so every morning I realize I can do 100% of anything I put my mind to. I can achieve 100% anything I put my mind to. There's no reason why I can't. And that fuels me every
Mhm.
single day. You are no less than 100%.
Love that. Okay. If you could be any creature in the world, what would it be?
It's a good one. I feel like I would probably be a lion. Lion, and this ties back to my last name of Maharaj,
Ah,
just the
yes.
king,
Yeah.
right? And the lion is like the king of the
Mm.
jungle, and it has that ferociousness to it, but it also has that care for its family. It takes
Yeah.
care of its family. It's there to provide. It's there to protect, and it's there to lead. Has the ambition, that mane. It represents so much, and to me, that's sometimes how I feel whenever I get into like a tough place. I think about, okay, well, like how would the lion do it, right? It wouldn't just back down and leave. It would attack. It would figure it out. It would
Mhm.
provide, and that's something that I try to live by.
Very, very interesting. Okay. Who's your go-to person when you feel stuck?
It's a good question because there's so many different
Okay.
go-to people based off of
Sure.
the struggle I am in, right? If it's something in business that, I'll go to our lead mentors, advisors, and he always been able to help us a lot. Ivan Ewan, he was one of the founders of Wattpad, and he's such a great individual. But when it comes to like personal stuff, when it comes to just direction is lost, I go to my brother. I think he understands me best. He's someone I can go to, if I don't know, if I just don't understand it. It's not like he even understands the whole
Yeah.
business world either, but he'll provide rationale or just help me understand my thoughts towards it. And that's someone that sparingly, if I have these problems, I
Okay.
hit him up.
So, what's the most expensive thing you own?
The knowledge in my mind.
Oof.
That's the most expensive thing I own. Are you kidding me? No. I would say most expensive thing. I mean, probably my car. I'll be honest.
Which one
That's
is
probably
it?
the biggest purchase I made recently. I bought an X3M. So BMW X3M 2024. So that's probably the biggest purchase. But I mean, outside of that, I think it's such a cop out answer, but I have to say, the mentality I have, it's taken time to do that, it's taken resources, and I feel like that is something that costs the most.
And what's the most expensive thing you would like to own?
I don't know if this is another cop out answer, but I think you cannot put a price on the pride and the ability to retire both of my parents comfortably, and whatever that
Mm.
cost might be, that is the most expensive. Even if it's $100,000, it doesn't matter to me because the happiness that will bring me will not be content of anything else in this world that I can buy myself
Mm.
materialistically. So that is in whatever way the most expensive thing that I want to provide. I want to be able to
And
provide.
the best answer award goes to Akshay.
I
That's,
think they know that too, which is why they support everything I'm
no, I
doing
love
right
that
now.
answer. All right. So, what's that one Canadian tradition that you have adopted wholeheartedly? And what's one from your home country that you have introduced to Canadians?
I think the one that I've adopted as probably more than some Canadians is my love for hockey. I've played hockey since I was 4 years old. Started skating when I was 3 years old. Played competitively all throughout my life. Even sponsored a hockey
Oh,
team that
wow.
I play on. On Monday, I play 3 times a week, 4 times a week, even in some weeks. And so that is something that I embody, and I love, 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 love the game of hockey just as much as I love
Mhm.
MMA. In terms of things that I have provided, and I'd say this is something that I've gotten my co-founder on. And Garnet grew up in more of a Caucasian household where wasn't necessarily really exposed to a lot of
Mhm.
different cultures and foods. And so one thing that I've gotten him into is the love for like vegetarian food. As a vegetarian growing up, culturally, because there's no meat a lot of different spices, a lot of different vegetables, the ways of eating vegetables that we
Yeah.
never even thought, and cooking processes and everything around that. And something that I like to share with anyone I meet that has never really experienced the traditional Indian style
Mm.
food or Fijian style food or even ethnic
Yeah.
food in general is let's bond over a dish. Let's bond over something when it
Yeah.
comes to food. Let me show you that it's not this curry, smelly thing that the
I know,
stereotype is around.
right?
No, like let me show you. Let me show you how delicious this can be, and that's something that I love. Maybe that's fueled a lot of my passion for cooking is to do that, taking different spins on Canadian dishes and adding like an Indian
Yeah.
flair to it or an ethnic flair to it. But I would say that's something that I continuously love to give back to the Canadian culture is that love for
Hmm.
food.
Love that. If you could have any superpower, Akshay, what would it be?
Read people's minds. I think for twofold. One is, I'm an overthinker. I really am. I tend to overthink so much, and unless it's clearly said to me, I will start thinking about 100 different scenarios and ideas and whatever it might be. And if I can read someone's mind, I know exactly what they're thinking, and
Mhm.
I can make a decision on that. The second thing is, I think it'd be really cool to understand the perspective and the mindset of some of the wealthiest people in the world, understand the mindset of some of the biggest athletes in the world, right? How do they compete in their game? What's going through their mind the second they enter the octagon? What goes through their mind as they hop onto the ice, as they enter the basketball court, whatever it might be? It would be so
Mhm.
amazing to just be, again, I'm so obsessed with that mindset. To be able to read that mind would be
Okay.
unbelievable.
And what's your favorite Canadian slang or phrase?
A. I say A all the time. I maybe it's because I am surrounded by a bunch of hockey guys all the time.
Mm.
I would be interesting to see if I said it during this conversation because I wouldn't be surprised if I hadn't. But A is probably the one phrase I have adopted quite, and it's
Can you use it in a sentence?
um. So if someone says how's it going, I'm like, hey, it's going all
Okay.
right,
Mm.
or I feel like it's sometimes just a filler word at the end of sentences. If you say something at the end of an A, I think there's different ways to navigate
Mhm.
it. But even at home, I catch myself sometimes even saying to my mom like, "Hey, what are you gonna do?" Right? Like it's become part of my vocabulary. Funny enough,
Okay. And finally, how would you describe Canada in one word or a sentence?
opportunity, opportunity, and I am beyond grateful to have grown up in an environment here where opportunity is available. And, I've done a lot of travels to the US and there's opportunity there, but I feel like in Canada, the opportunity for immigrants is here. Especially recently, what I've been exposed to from a startup perspective, the funding, the grants opportunities for
Mhm.
startup founders is phenomenal. And I can with confidence say that I would not be in the same position I am today if it wasn't for the support of those around me in the
Mhm.
Canadian ecosystem that has helped me thrive to where I am
Okay.
today.
And if you could leave me with one piece of advice, what would it be?
I think you're on such a phenomenal path when it comes to this podcast and everything you're doing outside of this podcast. One thing I say to you, one thing I say to anyone that's aspiring to do something and continue to do something is dream
Hmm.
bigger, dream bigger, dream bigger. That's it. Like that consistent mantra is always chanting in my head of dream bigger, believe bigger, right? What's the biggest dream guest you can potentially have?
Yeah.
And how do we get that for you? Right? Dream that big. And when we were starting this company in high school, the biggest customer, Logan Paul,
Yeah.
dream bigger. Okay, who's next? Right? That's one thing I'll say. I love the journey you're on right now. And I'm so, so, so excited to see your name in headlines saying this podcast has interviewed the biggest people in the world. And I cannot wait to see that. And so I am like excited about that. But I want you to continue to dream big, dream bigger.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. And how would you describe your experience of being on this podcast today?
Amazing. I've been on maybe 4 podcasts now, and this has been one that I love because I've been able just so relatable talking to you about the heritage,
Yeah.
the growing up as a South Asian, the transition. I mean, a lot of the podcasts, and I'm so grateful for the opportunities I've been on, have been so focused on the business and the growing the business. This has been a
Yeah.
different spin to it, which has been really cool, and something that I really haven't talked about publicly
Mhm.
at all. Ever is the upbringing and my family side and some of the beliefs and values and my mindset, where it was really neat sharing this information, and hopefully I've been able to help some of the viewers that are listening to this.
100%. And thank you, Akshay, for all your kind words. And I think I'm gonna definitely sleep on your advice of dreaming bigger. I think I'm gonna have some cold emails to send tonight. I'm gonna do that. But definitely, it was a pleasure having you, Akshay. Absolutely love talking to you, and I look forward to have you not only the next season, all my coming seasons. I would love to unfold more about your journey and the things you have achieved. Thank you so much for being on the podcast and adding value to my listeners and to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hey, listener, thank you for making it to the end. I highly appreciate you listening the podcast. Subscribe to the podcast if you haven't as yet, and please share with your friends or anybody you think would like it. And like I always say, we encourage you to follow your heart, but also us on Instagram. The handle is mythicaccent. You can also leave us a review or write to us at hello@mythicaccent.com. So stay tuned and let's continue knowing each other beneath the accent.